for it, but we really appreciate it. We felt that we needed to go over some things. I know some people are starting to come in, but I wanted to get this thing going at 6:30. Real quick, we want to make sure this year that, we want to make sure that you guys understand that this is an information-only meeting. So basically, we're going to give you guys some information. We're going to turn it over to Fred, our AYFL. He's going to give you some information. Phil Surface is our AYFL head referee, as well as the guy from Quick Cut, Luke is here, and he's going to be giving some information too. So we're going to make this really fast and try to go over as much as we can. First thing I want to go over real quick is last year in 2021, believe it or not, I know you guys will agree with me, we had just so many people at games. I've never seen anything like it. Maybe it was because of the COVID year and then everybody just kept wanting to come to a football game. But it was just so many people up there, which was great for the league and great for your concession stands. But what happened last year, and it's not only my fault as president of the NFL, but it's also the fault of you coaches as well as the refs, that we didn't do a very good job handling the parents last year, and we also didn't do a very good job making sure the right people were on the sidelines. So this year, unlike, sorry, I'm not a very good speaker, so I'm trying really hard here. This AYFL coaches card, we did this the last couple years, but it's going to be a little bit more detailed this year on how to get one of these badges. You're going to get one of these badges here, you're going to wear it this year. A lot of you guys last year, for some reason, decided to stick it in their pocket. Ain't going to work, guys. You need to have this badge on, and you also need to have an AYFL, or I'm sorry, your league coach's shirt on. To get one of these badges, it's very simple. You're going to get a coaching card just like the kids have, player's card in the book. And you're going to have to get certified. And in order to get certified, it's very simple. You guys got to be USA certified, which we've done in the past. And your league president is going to have to reach out to us and give us a list of who the background check. Once that's done, it comes to us, just like yesterday, we did a cards. We look at this card. We look at it, we make sure your heads up certified, we check the list to make sure your background check, you get this badge with a number. That number then goes on your card. When you go in and check in, like the kids do, that's gonna be checked. Now, from what I see in the USA certification, it's not really good, guys. There's a lot of coaches, I think there's like 1,800 inputs or something like that, and there's only like 14, 19% done, not good. You won't get a coaching card. And if you try to coach without a coaching card, that's just like playing a legal player. It's going to be a forfeit. So it's very simple. Your league reps know all about this. You can get with them. They're on top of it. They know that we've been serious about this. And we're going to make sure the right amount of people are on the sidelines. Now, last year we just had too many referee issues, not only parents, not only coaches, not only head coaches, but reps as well. So we're all guilty of that. We're going to put a stop to that. It's very simple, guys. These referees can look over the sidelines and see no more than 10, 12 people that belong in that sidelines, and they're going to check. They're going to make sure they're badged. They're in color shirts, there's blue shirts, there's red shirts, there's team mom with a badge, a couple water boys. No one else needs to be on that field, period. And if we start this from the 6U game,
how we play the game of football, how we teach the game of football, etc. So with that being said, I'm just going to piggyback on a couple of things that Jim talked about as far as who's allowed to be on the sidelines. The only people that will be allowed to be on the sidelines are head coach, assistant coaches, team moms. All right? You are allowed to have 2 water boys. That's it. Head coach, assistant coach, team moms. On top of that, your staff needs to be uniform. Your coaching staff, along with your team mom, needs to be in uniform. The reason for that, that's going to help the refs determine who's supposed to be on that sideline. So I just want to be very clear. Everyone in this room understands and hears that to be on the sideline, your staff, the expectation is for you to be uniform. The next topic we're going to talk about is sideline behavior. in particularly with coaches and assistant coaches. So over the years, looking back at some of our issues, RCC issues, investigations, things like that that we've done in the past, the majority of the time, it's not even the head coach. The majority of the time, it's the assistant coaches, which then causes the head coach to get flagged and fouled, and that head coach is normally ejected out of the games. On the flip side to that, the head coach is accountable for that, but what happens to that assistant coach? Nothing, right? So moving forward, be on the lookout. No matter if you're a head coach, if you're an assistant coach, if you cause any type of infraction, you're flagged and have to be ejected, you will be held accountable for it. You will be held accountable for it. But let's talk about the behaviors. Things that won't be tolerated this year. Cursing at refs, zero tolerance. Zero tolerance for it. Making unnecessary statements to ref, as far as, oh man, you cheating. Excuse my language. Oh, that's bullshit. Zero tolerance for that type of stuff. No one should be talking to a ref except for the head coach of that football team. That is the only person allowed to talk to that ref. If you're a blue shirt, if you're a red shirt, your job is not to talk to refs. Your job is not to try and influence a game or try to make a ref make a particular call that's in your favor. Zero tolerance for that. The only person that can speak to the ref is who? Head coach. Head coach. Just want to make sure that we're all understanding the same thing, because when we leave here, guess what? We all receive the same message at the same time. And no one can say, oh, coach, I didn't know, or Fred, I didn't know. No, we all know. We all know. Red shirts and blue shirts, it is your responsibility to man your sidelines. You are the person that's in charge of the sideline at your park. So guess what? If you have 15, 20, 25 people on your sideline, especially if you have an executive board member there, I promise you we will come on your sideline. That game will not be played if a person is not badged and supposed to be on your sideline. It's just that serious, guys. So make sure that whoever is on your sideline, they're badged and that they're supposed to be on your sideline. If not, that infraction and the consequence is going to fall on you as a park rep, as a league rep, and as a head coach for that particular age group. All right, one of the things that we want to put in place at all parks is after the games, it's very important for league reps and or a president or commissioner to walk that referee crew to their cars. Listen, you laugh, but it's just that serious. It's just that serious. So that's more so for park presidents and league reps and things of that nature. The other thing that you guys got to understand is, listen, no one's perfect. No one is perfect, right? So we're all human. Realize that in the game of sports, that there are going to be some things that are missed. That's just what it is. But it's our job as an executive board to make sure that there aren't any intentional infractions, which I haven't seen, that will cause harm or cause, as far as the decision of how a game is going to be weighed out or played out. So again, all park presidents, commissioners, league reps, that is your job after the game to make sure that that referee crew gets to their cars safe. Also, make sure you guys clear the doorway for fire safety issues. We got to make sure that the doorway is clear. Thank you, thank you. Going back to talking about sideline behavior. So if you have too many people on your sidelines, understand that the refs will have the ability to throw personal foul flags, which will, at some point, if there's two, that gets your head coach ejected from that game. Do we all understand that so far? So again, going back to manning your sidelines, make sure that you have the right amount of people that should be on your sideline and the people that have been badged to be on your sideline. My last topic for red shirts and blue shirts. It is very important that you have adequate amount of staff as far as red shirts and blue shirts throughout the entire day, at every single game, every age group game. If you don't have adequate coverage, I suggest you find it. Because the executive board, those are things that we're going to be looking for. Those are things that have a trickle-down effect that when you don't manage the process, that's when things tend to happen. So we're going to do a better job as an executive board with holding ourselves accountable. We're also going to do a better job as a league with holding all of us accountable. We're all adults in here. So at the end of the day, you can't say that you were not made aware. My one last and final suggestion: bylaws. Rules and bylaws. If you're coaching in this league or you're participating in this league and you have not read your rules and bylaw book, you are failing yourself. You're failing yourself. Know your rules and your bylaws. Know your rules and your bylaws. Somebody in this room is going to thank me for making that statement later. Know your rules and your bylaws. Read it. It will help you out in a lot of situations because you're not, if something happens, you're not going to be able to say, I didn't know. 10 times out of 10, it's in the bylaws. It's in the bylaws. All right, so at this point, I will go ahead and turn it over to Mike, who is the AYFL secretary.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My portion is going to be very quick, short, and sweet. The COVID bylaws the COVID protocols have changed tremendously from 2019, 2020, 2021, and now. Everything is 5 days. So from the first onset of symptoms, you have 5 days to quarantine. Or if you get a positive COVID test, you have 5 days to quarantine. No longer does the whole team have to say, everyone in your house, it's literally the person that tested positive. So if that person is sick, get them away from you, have them lay down for 5 days. Once the symptoms are over, they can return back to normal activities. I do want to stress the importance of this part. You have to have this person quarantined and stay down for 5 days. If you do not, you allow them to go around other people and infect other people and the executive board gets wind of it, we will have to investigate. Last year, we did have to investigate a couple of parks, and they did receive some penalties because they broke those CDC guidelines, and a lot of issues came because of it. So just know you have 5 days. If someone gets sick, they go down for 5 days, take a rest, they can get a negative test back, and they can return, or after the 5 days of quarantine is up, they can return.
Luke from QuickBooks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Luke. I'm going to be going over a few things here. First, anyone who has the Quick Cut app, you're going to want to trash the app and download the new one. Don't just go in and try to update it because it's still not going to work. We redid our entire app and our platform, so that's the reason why. If you need help getting on the app, you can contact Todd and help you get in. We're going to be doing advanced stats this year for 14U, so we asked that everyone puts in their kids for the on the platform. That way, when you see the leaderboard, you're not just going to see number 22 ran this many yards, you're going to have a name next to it as well. Putting them in will also give them the ability to see the leaderboards. We're also going to be doing top 10 plays each week, so we ask that everyone sends in the list of plays they feel that would make the top 10. That way we can get them out to everyone. We're putting a huge emphasis this year on the quality of video, and so for one, all of our plays, every single play of every single game will be quality checked from somebody. So all 6,000 to 7,000 plays each week will be looked at. Makeup games. I know a lot of times you guys don't know until the last minute when the makeup game is going to be, but any information that we can be told is going to help us. So if you know Saturday night that your games are canceled, to let me know Saturday night that you may have games on Sunday will help me be able to contact someone. You letting me know Sunday morning that games are in 2 hours, I'm calling around at 8, 9 in the morning, and just not a lot of people are answering their phone at that time. The league pool has been upgraded, so now you will be able to see which organization and which coach has been watching your footage and how much they've been watching. You guys like that, huh? And last, just put your kids in flat. All right, thank you.
All right, next up, we are going to have Phil Surface, who's the supervisor of the AYFL refs. Probably got your title wrong.
Close enough. Good evening, everybody. Thank you. What did I do? Thank you for your attention tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to address all of you. A little bit about myself. I began officiating high school football in 1983. So that's before a number of you in this room were even walking. Got about 7 of our crew chiefs here behind me. The minimum amount of experience for our crew chiefs is well over 10 years. So in this league, you have a tremendous amount of experience officiating your games. I would venture to say that among all other youth leagues in the state of Florida, you don't have any one league that has any more experienced officials than you have right here at the AYFL. Part of the reason why we're so drawn to the AYFL is because of the gentleman you see behind us here. The structure of the league is conducive to making sure everybody is held accountable, is demonstrating the correct behavior out on the field, and setting a positive example for the children that we are serving. Unfortunately, over the last couple of years, that behavior has been trending in a downward fashion. And part of the goal of tonight's session is to turn that around. It is especially important that we turn that around because, as you may or may not know, there is a tremendous officiating shortage throughout the country. Not only here in Florida, but nationwide. Many surveys have been done and published in various publications. The number one reason why people are no longer officiating youth league sports is because of the behavior and conduct of the adults that we have to deal with. And that's an unfortunate situation, but it is the truth. There is tremendous increase of scrutiny on officials. You have enhanced video, you have computer programs. You can watch every play of every game for your entire year, for the year before. So there's a lot more scrutiny and on us as officials. I want to give you an example. I'm a baseball fan. I like the Yankees. Aaron Judge is my favorite player. But some where he leads the league in strikes that are out of the strike zone called as strikes against him, and it's by a wide margin. Now I guarantee you that the Major League Baseball umpires are not doing that on purpose. It's just a matter of increased video recording of games and at-bats. Even the worst umpire in Major League Baseball is getting 96% of those calls right. And those are the best of the best. Here in the youth football arena, again, in my opinion, in the state of Florida, you have the best football officials available to work youth league sports in the entire state. And I say that confidently. Okay, like I said, I've got 7 crew chiefs, including myself. And I've not gone over this before with them, but on a show of hands for all you guys back here, how many in the last year or two have considered registering to officiate youth league sports? Of those people who raised their hand, how many would attribute the main reason is conduct by adult coaching staffs or adult spectators as the main reason why you decided or considered not registering? So it's an unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in. The conduct and the behavior of the adults that are supposed to be leading the examples for our young people is the main reason why the number of officials is trending downward. And so we're hoping to correct that. Most of the time when we have disruptions, the main reason is because of a lack of knowledge of the applicable high school and how they're interpreted and enforced. Especially where Federation and AYFL rules differ from that which you see on TV when you're watching college and NFL games. One of the biggest points of contention between coaches and officials over the years has been the rule of intentional grounding. The Federation this year has changed that rule to now mirror the college and professional game. So the old saying where, oh, he's out of the tackle box, he's out of the box, and we have a ball thrown away as long as it passes the line of scrimmage, that is now a legal play. Used to be that if he threw it away trying to avoid a sack and there was no receiver there, it was an automatic foul, and now it mirrors the collegiate and professional rule. Some other differences, encroachment, commonly known as offsides. That is always a dead ball foul. An encroachment foul by either side of the line of scrimmage kills the play. There are only automatic first downs on roughing fouls, roughing the passer, roughing the kicker, roughing the holder. Those are the only automatic first downs in your game. Holding by the defense does not result in an automatic first down. A face mask foul does not result in an automatic first down. And we have substitution infractions. It's only a dead ball foul if the substitution period has ended. Substitution period, 3 seconds to get that player off the field once the sub. That's how the game is written. No longer 12 in the huddle, or they broke the huddle with 12. That's not a standard that we look for. So that's about all I have tonight. I do have 2 of my colleagues here. Ken Weisberg, one of our crew chiefs, is going to discuss some situations with pass interference. It's a little bit different than what you watch on television.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. So, pass interference. That is a foul that no doubt everybody on here thinks that they know when they see it, they think they know when it needs to be called, but then when they think about the penalty enforcement, they start thinking about what goes on in the NFL, or they start what goes on in college. That's when things are a little bit different. Plus, there are some standards that help us decide what is pass interference, what is not. So I'm going to go over those quickly. First of all, there is no such thing as a, quote, uncatchable ball, okay? That rule applies in the NFL. It doesn't apply here. There is no such thing as an uncatchable ball. So if you say, hey, ref, that ball was uncatchable, we're going to say, not a concern of ours, because that is not an applicable rule, National Federation of High Schools. As Phil said a moment ago, it's not an automatic first down. There are a lot of people that think pass interference is an automatic first down. It is not. It's a 15-yard foul on defensive pass interference enforced from either the spot, if it's an incomplete pass, or from the succeeding spot, if he catch, or if they decline the penalty, which an offense can do as well too. It is not a foul. It is not penalty at the spot of the foul. So that's an NFL rule as well too. And that is an important distinction that a lot of people sometimes confuse, because we're all watching games in college stadiums on Saturdays and the NFL on Sundays, but those rules are not applicable here. Okay? What do we look for defensive pass interference? What constitutes defensive pass interference? There is something called the hook and turn. You hook the receiver, you turn him, we'll flag it. Playing through the back, over the top, pushing him out of the way, jumping through, that is going to get called defensive pass interference. Cut the receiver, cutting him off, not letting him get a chance to catch the ball, we're going to flag that. An arm bar, we all know what that is. You push it off, you block the receiver's ability to get the ball, we're going to go ahead and flag that. Grabbing and restricting, just what it sounds like. I'm going to grab him, I'm going to pull him, I'm going to bear hug him, I'm going to do whatever it is, that's going to get a flag as well. What is not pass interference, what is not going to get flagged? Incidental contact, okay? It's not going to get flagged. They're both kind of going for the ball, they're pushing off of each other, nothing more than a little hand fighting, not going to get called. Inadvertent tangling of the feet, I think everybody knows that by now. They're both running, their feet get tangled up, we're not calling it. Ball is nowhere near the intended target. So what does that mean? That just essentially means that, say the receiver 20 yards downfield, ball gets thrown 10 yards for whatever reason, it lands short, it doesn't get to where it needs to be, we're not going to flag that either. Laying a hand on a receiver. One of these things where you're not pushing, you're not shoving, you're just kind of touching each other, not going to call that. Also where the defender gains a position. He gets in front of the receiver, he does it fairly, he does it without touching the receiver, we're not going to call that either. We're also not going to necessarily call pass interference if the play develops over to the right and there's contact over on the left, nowhere near it. Don't look to us to give you a flag, because that's not going to happen. That had nothing to do with where the ball was winding up. We're not going to flag it over there. We'll talk to you about it. We'll say, hey, you better watch it, because if that does happen again and the ball is in that zone, you're going to get flagged for that. Okay? But pass interference, of course, doesn't only apply to the defense. You can have offensive pass interference as well, too. So here are a couple finer points for that. What is offensive pass interference? Hit play, right? Pretty standard. We know what that is. It's pick play. Downfield blocking on a pass beyond the line of scrimmage. Can't do that. Push off to create separation. That's going to get flagged as well, too. So there are some basic differences, so just keep in mind, we talked about before, some of those key differences when you're watching an AYFL game or a high school game, you're going to not see the same kind of penalty enforcement on pass interference that you would on a Saturday afternoon at Campbell Stadium up in Florida State, or on Sunday at MetLife Stadium in New York. All right? Now I'm going to hand it to Bob McKinney, who's going to talk a little bit about some other penalties.
Great, thanks. Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. Thanks to Jim Ross and the AYFL for inviting us out. I'm going to talk a little bit about holding, okay? What constitutes holding? I want you to remember this phrase. Materially restrict the defender at the point of attack. Materially restrict the defender at the point of attack. Grasping a jersey is not holding. Mike? I'm going to use Mike as my blocking. Grasping the jersey, this is not holding. I go that way. If I go out here with him, I'm going out there. He wants to go out there, I'm going with him. This does not constitute holding. If I attempt to control him, go that way. This is control. The hand here, I am materially restricting him, but at the point of attack. If this happens here, and the ball carrier is going around that end, this is nothing. Absolutely, positively, nothing. Materially, yes we do. That's why we're here, to let all of you guys know what we're going to enforce. Materially, restrict the defender at the point of attack. You have to remember, it's at the point of attack. If I'm the referee, and we've got it, and I'm in the backfield, and we've got a quick pitch this way, I'm looking over here at the defensive end to make sure every block on him is legal. I'm not looking over here. The point of attack is here. So remember this phrase. Materially restrict the defender at the point of attack. We look at control. We also look at feet. If the defender's feet, something causes him to stumble, a knee buckles, that blocker then is attempting to control him and materially restrict him at the point of attack. That's the key phrase. Any questions on that? Well, maybe I'll take a couple. I'll tell you what, come see me after this if you got any questions about it.
One of the biggest issues we have is on the side. That's why I put these young men out there. If I'm an official,
and I'm working this sideline. I'm here, trying to get downfield. This is the 2-yard build. At the snap, when the snap is imminent, no one is allowed in that box. Did y'all hear me? No one is allowed in that box. Because this is what's going to happen. To play the pickups, I'm going downfield. I don't have my flag. That's 15 yards with the belt. 15. Also, what may happen during the course of the game, when these coaches are in the box. A lot of y'all run jet sweep plays. When that ball carrier is running downfield, turns that ball, it's a possibility he makes that out of bounds. But if all these coaches are on the field, that official will never see him step out of bounds. The first thing y'all gonna say, hey, ref, he stepped out of bounds, he stepped out of bounds. Well, if I don't see it, I can't call him. Let me tell y'all something. We do not tell y'all to step out of that box to pick on y'all. That's not why we do that. First and foremost is safety. That's the most important thing, safety. I don't have on pads, but these kids do. When they run to that sideline, they come up with me, I need to be able to get out of the way. So I can see that play as it develops. It's not to pick on nobody. Because as soon as we ask y'all to clear the box, ref, hey, y'all go with that bullshit again. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. We gonna be real? I'm gonna keep it real with you. Those that know me, y'all know I'm gonna keep it real with you. And here we go. Now all of a sudden, for the rest of the game, we got the coach, he can't focus on his team. He worried about what I'm saying to him. Now, gentlemen, ma'am, step back. That's all we ask y'all to do, step back. Give us that side. It'll make everybody day a whole lot easier. That's all I gotta say, coach.
All right, we're gonna try and wrap it up so that we can get everybody out of here in a timely fashion. One of the things that I learned at a very early age when speaking in front of crowds is to do a quick, what we call temperature check of the room, a temperature check of the room. And one of the things I noticed, which is probably why we have an accountability issue in this league, and it's still going on. That right there is part of the problem, if not the problem. As leaders, if we can't hold ourselves accountable as men and women, how can you as a leader and as a mentor coach, develop, run a program, whatever it is in whatever capacity that you do? How can you do that and hold your kids accountable to something and even hold yourself accountable? We just sat here and had a very important meeting on specific topics that pertains to how we can better our league and how we can help our officiating crew. And I can guarantee that we probably only retain 35% of the information that was given tonight. See, I pay attention to a lot of things. And people that know me will tell you, I can be as cool as a fan. I can be as cool as a fan. But I wish I could look everybody in their eye and get eye contact right now, because I'm here to tell you, I hope we were paying attention tonight. Because at this point, every coach, assistant coach, park rep, league rep, president, commissioner, I don't care what your title is. No one is bigger than this league. And if you think you are, you're here for the wrong reason. So with that being said, if everyone paid attention, we'll be fine. If we didn't, I can assure you that I don't care how long I've known you, I don't care if I've done your taxes, I don't care who you are. Everybody will be treated the same. And if you do anything that causes harm to our league, and our children, I promise you, I will do everything in my power to get you out. Not just get you out, but for good. And see, I can say that because I have a dog in the fight. I have 2 kids that's in this program, that's in this league. And I also have other kids that grew up in this league. I can say that. So with that being said, I don't want to end on a negative note. I want everyone to leave here with a positive attitude, understanding that, guess what? How many more days we have for week 1? How many more days for week 1? 14. However many days it is, I don't know off the top of my head, but let's remember that we go out and we have a successful season for these kids and young ladies that's in our cheer programs, so that we can continue to set the standard for leagues across this country. Listen, it's been a great pleasure having you guys here. We appreciate you coming. You want to say something? You better hurry up, because we're ready to go.
Hey, I apologize, it's kind of last minute, but I talked to Jim. I want to speak to you guys about flow of the game. Okay? Gotcha. We have to do this. Real quick, listen up. Flow of the game. First game, 6U, is right at 8 o'clock in the morning. If fans or buts about it. That means your coaches for 6U need to be at the field at 7 a.m. Be ready to weigh in at 7:30. Okay? If you weigh in at 7:30, after 7:30, we're not starting on time. It's not going to happen. The rest of the games, coaches, you are to weigh in prior to the halftime of the game that is being played. If you do not weigh in prior to halftime of the game that's being played, you're going to go late. That has to be played next. It is a rule. Weigh in on time. We have 8 games that we have to put in on a Saturday afternoon, starting at 8 a.m. and going all the way to 10 p.m. The only way this is going to be accomplished is if we have the cooperation of our coaches and our players. It is mandatory that you guys, blue shirts, red shirts, that you're weighing in the team, that you do it in a timely manner so that we do not delay the previous game or the next game that's coming up.
All right, with that being said, thank you very much for coming out. Let's have an awesome season, man.